Writing, such a solitary journey. And sometimes you just want someone to talk to about, hey, this struggle I'm having starting this chapter. How do I know when to end a chapter? Where to chapter? What length should everything be? So many questions. And where can you find the answers? And could someone just have a real person talk to me about them? Guess what? That's what I'll be talking about today. Free and paid versus paid writing groups. Everything you need to know. When should you pay for one? Your writing coach here to talk to you today about free versus paid writing groups. Now, if you're anything like me, you've seen advertisements for these groups all the time, right? On social media, doesn't matter which channel. And it just sounds so great because you have questions, you want answers. And let's face it, Google can only take you so far. So the question that you're wondering is, should you ever pay for a writing group? And is there a difference? I've seen some free groups too. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And first off, I want you to know that I have a free group for writers. And you know, every week I'm like, you can find the link in the description, and you can. And so specifically what I'm talking about is what you could find in that group when I talk about a free group. But I'll also be talking about other experiences because yes, Sharon has experiences paying for a writing community. So what does this mean? Well, the community I paid for before was called the Novel Academy. So the Novel Academy, well, that sounds like a paid course, Sharon. Well, yes and no. It was a paid course with a huge library to access of content, but Susan May Warren also had a weekly class that she gave you access to as a member. So it would be a live class where you went to the classroom and they taught a class on whatever the subject was. And so every week you had access to this class. And every month or 2 months, there would be what she called a hot seat where you could submit questions and then she would answer them. You could get feedback on a few pages, a chapter, a critique, a synopsis. You could ask questions about how to build a brand or how to find an agent, pretty much anything. So for me, that's why it was a community. And there was also a Facebook group that went along with it, but not as much interaction there as I've seen in other Facebook groups. So this is a paid group. And it was called the Novel Academy. So that means it was for novelists. But what I found out more specifically is that it was for romance novelists, which is what I was writing at the time I joined it. But once I stopped writing that, then I stopped getting the value. Also, some of the classes that she gave each week didn't appeal to me or weren't something I needed to know. So then I didn't go as often. So there's also another paid group that I'm part of, but I can't drop a link to it because they only take members a couple times a year. And that is Hope Writers. And I have a free membership with them because I am a contracted writing coach with them. So that's part of the benefit of being contracted with them to coach writers, is that I get the membership for free. And they also have a vast library. They also do weekly teaching, call it Tuesday teaching, but it's not live where, I mean, it goes on Facebook Live, and their Facebook group is way more active and also has exponentially more members than the Novel Academy group. This is not me talking down the Novel Academy. I was a member there for almost 4 years. I love the Novel Academy, but there's two things that you need to consider before you pay to be a member of these groups. So first of all, only pay if you're going to show up. All of us have done it, right? oh, this course sounds so good, so we buy it. We spend $29, $49, $99 and buy this course. And then we never get around to going through each lesson. Or we go through a few lessons and we get busy and we forget about it and we can't even figure out how to log back in again. Okay, or maybe I'm the only one who does that, but I don't think so. It's the same with a membership group, with one of these writing groups. Only pay if you're going to show up, my friend, because otherwise you're just handing them money. And there were many months when I was just handing money over to Novel Academy because I didn't show up for the calls and I didn't watch any of the massive amount of recorded classes. Why? Because none of them were what I needed, which brings me to point 2. Make sure the offerings from this group match up with your specific needs and goals. If a romance writer was looking for specific instruction on structure and making more believable characters and attending a writing conference and figuring out how to get the most out of it, I would point them right to Novel Academy. That's a perfect place to go. Those are things that are specialized there at Novel Academy. Now I'll flip side to Hope Writers. Hope Writers has a ton of resources too for writers at different stages, and much of their curriculum and videos and everything applies more for nonfiction writers than fiction writers. And you go, well, Sharon, you're a fiction writer. Why are you there then? I'm there because I'm coaching there, and they are building up some fiction resources as well. But as far as if I was going to pay for it, I probably would not pay for a membership with Hope Writers because of that very thing. Because what I want, information on how to approach traditional publishers, how to write the best query, the strongest query, to get feedback on a synopsis that I have, to find the right agent. And for me, a lot of the reason why I joined Novel Academy in similar community is because I want to network. I'm networking with these other authors, hoping that, they'll be like, want to read my stuff and say, hey, my agent would totally represent you, Sharon. This is so good. Because what I know about getting an agent is that 90% of their business comes from referrals. Yes, 10% might be new people that they meet, mostly at conferences, but most of their work, most of their new clients are referrals from, you guessed it, current clients. So networking is a big reason why you might want to join one of these groups. That's why you need to make sure that they're matching your specific needs and your goals that you have as a writer right now. Most memberships are month by month, or you can buy a year at a time to get a discount. 1 or 2 months free, it usually equals out to. Most of them are not lifetime memberships. So that means if in 6 months it's no longer meeting your needs, you cancel. The end. So now let's talk about the difference between the two groups. A free group, a lot of times you won't have as much one-to-one interaction from professional writers as what you will get in a paid group. But it can still be a community of great support and encouragement. A lot of what I needed, especially when I was first starting out writing, was just someone to talk to about the frustrations I was having. I can't seem to get this scene right. Oh, I can't get any feedback on my writing. Yada, 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 different things. Or, I'm stuck. I've written myself into this corner. Here's my problem. Do you have any ideas? So free communities are great for things like that. But there are a million of them. Yes, I highly recommend Write Your Book Nook for fiction and memoir writers, especially because that's my specialty. I know about those things and can help. And I am present. I do show up every day and respond to the comments that happen on the posts. I do answer questions that members post to help encourage them and support them as they are on their journey to write a book. So a paid group usually is sponsored by a seasoned author. Almost all the groups I know are either sponsored by a single author or a group of authors or a writing organization. So that means they are going to show up in those paid groups. They're promising you something, whether it's a library of content or a weekly class, or maybe both. They might have live question and answer sessions where you can go on and ask questions and they will answer them. And most of them that I've seen are very genre specific. So I know that Jenny Whitetrup just started a group here at the beginning of the year that was for writing a novel in 1 year. And I think she's a women's fiction writer, maybe romance. So I'm going to guess most of that content will be geared toward that genre. But she also was having editors and agents show up to teach some of the classes and some of the content that was going along with that membership group. So I have seen ones hosted by fantasy authors, science fiction authors. So whatever your genre is, you could find a paid group that would help you focus directly on that. So the benefit of a group, a free group, as much as a paid group in this case, is networking. Because in a free group, you didn't pay anything, you didn't put out any money, but you can meet other authors, some at the same level as you, some more advanced than you, and you can exchange. Hey, I'll read your chapter if you read one of mine, and give me feedback. So it's a good way to possibly hook up with a critique partner, beta readers. So there are lots of benefits to a writing group. And I wholly and solely believe in writing groups because writing alone can be very discouraging and disheartening, and can help you just write in circles. So you never advance well enough so that your work becomes publishable. And my friend, your story matters. So you want to get it out there. You want it to be publishable, but you want it to be good enough to be publishable. So remember, don't pay for a writing group unless you're going to show up for the stuff they are offering, especially if they're live events, that those work at a time for you. Because let's face it, watching the recording, just not as good. And a lot of times we just won't do it. And make sure that the group is focused and offers what you need right now based on where you're at and your specific goals. And hey, find one that's specific to the genre you're writing. And you know what? Start with the free group. See if maybe you can find what you want there. And you can ask there about paid membership groups. They might have some people in that group, may have some ideas. Maybe they are members of a community that they think is great, and they could tell you why. Then you would be able to ask them questions that would be a lot more informative than webinars trying to sell you it or the sales landings page, because they actually have participated before. So free or paid, my friend, find a writing group, get community so that you can make the strongest story, because you are the strongest you.